Hey everybody, we're brought to you today by On It. If you made a resolution, or if you just in general looking to optimize yourself, your body, your brain, your gut health, whatever, go on over to the show notes for this episode 42 or any other episode and click on the On It link. Go on over there, get yourself some Alpha Brain, get yourself some Total Primate Care if you want to go all in. I've been using that. I missed all the colds that went around my family, all the colds that went around the gym. Lots of shared services there, and I think that helped out. So go on over there. They'll kick us a little bit in the back end. Anything that you get when you click through from my link, they've got all kinds of stuff. Not just supplements, but they got kettlebells and other fitness equipment, and they got a whole bunch of free workouts up there too. So get on over there, and I'm going to shut up and we can get on with the show. Hey there, welcome back, episode 42. Thank you for being here. If you are a first-time listener, welcome. If you are back again and you've been with me for most of these 9 months or so, I greatly appreciate it. I hope you're enjoying it. Today, let's start off somewhere different. I'm sitting here with a cup of mushroom coffee. It's a lower caffeine. I've been trying to do a little more of this. It's a nootropic, so it gets the brain going, but at 40 milligrams of caffeine, I don't have that chemical rush that seems to help spark stuff. I don't know. We'll get that figured out. But there's gonna be stuff in the show notes. As always, this or any episode, go to joshshear.com. Sometimes I'm slow on that podcasts page. I'll go get backed up 2 or 3 episodes, but you can always just scroll down that homepage there. The latest podcast is usually sitting at the top within a couple hours after I get it out. But you can go there and read all about this stuff. Okay. So I guess let's start where it starts. The last few episodes I've been kind of full of paranoia and fear, and now it's just fear. Now we know. Now we know all those people who, the big thing throughout the campaign was that Hillary Clinton supporters were seeing Trump literally but not seriously. Trump supporters were taking him seriously but not literally. And now we know we should have been taking them both seriously and literally. Just about everything he said he was going to do, he's been doing by way of executive order. He's not waiting for Congress. He appointed an oil guy, except the draining the swamp. I am going to say that he might take away some of the lobbying privileges, but what he's done is he's appointed an oil guy to go handle foreign relations, and he's Betsy DeVos was not a great pick for education, if you like education. He's last night, we're recording today, Thursday the 26th of January. The latest thing he did last night before I signed off of work was put every piece of science that comes out of a federal agency must go through a politician before it gets released to the public, which, I guess this is not a surprise since Betsy DeVos was his pick. She's not super qualified outside of being able to donate millions to campaigns. She's not super qualified to run education at all. And neither is a politician qualified to read science. So it means that all objective facts that we get from federal research are going to have been run through a political filter first, which means that by the time it gets out, it's not a political fact at all. Or if it is, we have no way of knowing that it is without talking to the scientist. But of course, federal employees are not right now allowed to talk to the public without prior approval. That gag order is probably not legal. I'm gonna point you to a post that's in the show notes rather than try to read it, because I don't understand the precedents, and I'm not going to give myself a law primer. But all the information is there in the post from an actual federal lawyer who's worked on whistleblower cases and that kind of stuff. So, on the plus side, scientists are now considering running for office, and we're gonna get people who study stuff in labs marching on Washington and in other cities soon. It's it's baffling to me, but that we can just say science after all this time, because it's really, some of this is really what's made us at least stay in the top 50 or so countries in education. Without good science, we're just going to disappear off those lists. We're already falling behind in science and math. Let's see, what else is on my list? Okay, let's talk about crowd size. And let's talk about crowd size, but understand that this is not about crowd size. It's about verifiable facts. It's about the president and then the president's secretary coming out and lying, really, because what they said was, this is the largest crowd, period. They had the same information the rest of us did. They had photos of the inauguration up. And you could just see that it wasn't. And it doesn't matter that it wasn't. It's okay. This is not about crowd size. This is about lying to the American people. The press, the media, is where you get all your information. It's where you get your information. It's where you find out what your government is doing. I promise you are not going to every hearing. You are not doing any research. If you are, you're largely looking through stuff that's been made public by media. You're not going through the congressional files at the Library of Congress. You're getting it from journalists who rely on good information. And if the government's feeding lies to the media, then you're either going to get lies, or you're going to get good journalism that you don't believe because your politicians are saying something else while journalists are, saying what they're saying. So understand that that's not a good, it's in fact a very bad start, I think, to start with little lies. If you start with little lies, then we can't believe you on the big stuff. You can go, I encourage you to read my blog post from Thursday about the history of why we have journalism, why as a fourth estate, and also why I'm really scared. I was finally able to put into words, and that's part of why I'm more in a state of general fear than paranoia, and it really comes down to, I am an American. The president does not have my back. My wife is an American. The president does not have her back. My parents are Americans and the president does not have their back. My nieces are Americans and the president does not have their back. And that's what we need, right? Government should have two primary roles, and then along with, associated stuff along with that. But the government should provide a path for us to be great humans, for us to learn, and for us to grow into the people we're going to be, hopefully being healthy along the way. And government should keep us safe from government and hopefully criminals, but there's only so much that can be done. President's talking about calling in the feds to Chicago, and that means there are only two ways to do that. One is to pump more money into local policing. The other is to impose martial law. And I don't know the crime rate in Chicago is high. Go look at, I didn't put it in the show notes, but go look at jackass.com. I promise that's a legitimate site. No, it's heyjackass.com. Heyjackass.com. It's they put up running stats for the year on violence in Chicago, and it's off the charts. Like more people get shot there than live in my mid-sized city here. It's crazy, but I don't know. Is that martial law? If you are, I don't know, just going to work at the bank, should you have to hit army checkpoints along the way? I'd probably leave. I don't know. Sorry, Kelvin. I know you hate that slurping, but I might have to do a little more of it. That wall is getting built. Homeland Security has said it's probably the least effective use of our resources. I am going to go with the lowest estimate I saw, and that's from CNN Money. It was between $15 and $25 billion that it's going to cost to build that wall. And there's no plan for how Mexico is going to pay for that. So it's coming out of your pocket and my pocket. It's coming out of our pockets. So is the investigation into all the voter fraud that's happening, and there's no evidence that there's large-scale voter fraud. The best source I found for the 2016 election was the Washington Post, which said that 18 cases of voter fraud were alleged during the 2016 election, and 4 appear to have been real. One of those was somebody in Florida who was paid to collect absentee open absentee ballots. They caught her filling in bubbles for the mayor's race. Another was a Trump voter in Iowa who was caught trying to vote twice, as was a Trump campaign worker in Texas trying to vote twice, and then a Republican judge sent in an absentee ballot for her late husband. So those are the 4 cases that we know of in 2016. If we extrapolate that out to the last few elections, let's add 25% error. Let's just let's give it a 50% error. So, it's for an election, 2016, 2012, 2008, 2004, 2000. Let's keep going. 96, 92, 88, 84, 80. That's 10. That's 10 elections. 4 per election is 40. Let's give it a 50% margin of error. That's 60 cases of voter fraud over 36 years. And he's alleging $3 to $5 million this year, and that's going to cost us a couple of $1 billion probably to investigate. So I don't know. You take that. We're paying for that on nothing really other than Trump's ego, rather than granting money to the National Endowment for the Arts, which is $148 million a year. That's actually less than the inauguration cost. So yeah, and that is the sort of thing that allows inner city kids to go to museums and the symphony. So maybe we can get some of those kids in poor districts in Chicago to get interested in art and astronomy, that kind of stuff, instead of getting out in the street. But I don't know. Priorities. You let your mouth talk, but I don't see where everything's going. I'm gonna get off of Trump for a little bit here, because we haven't really the last few episodes. It's been largely paranoia. Now it's just disappointment, I guess. We kind of understand where the country's going, and sort of, I guess. We don't know for sure, how. But we've got an idea that things are going to get done by executive order without a clear path. The rollback of Obamacare didn't actually come with a package. So, I guess my parents are just going to have to keep working until their 70s and 80s, because I can't. I can't afford a night in the hospital without insurance. So, who knows what they're going to be able to have. Okay, moving on. My word for 2017 is abundance, and I've been not so good at displaying that, I think, especially in this space. So what I've done is actually last Friday, Inauguration Day, I took Twitter and Facebook off my phone. I'm still getting into plenty of fights, but at least now I have to be sitting in front of a computer for it. And if I choose not to get in front of a computer, getting in front of a computer is actually a trip for me. I have to go, sit at my desk. And it's kind of off in the corner of a room. So yeah, I can avoid that unless I'm working. It's kind of nice. I'm still getting in fights on social media, but at least it's not all the time, and it's not sitting in my pocket. I did that, and now it gives me an opportunity to focus on that abundance. And one of the things that I started doing is giving a little money, not much. I don't have that kind of money to throw around, but just a little bit here and there to projects I support on Patreon. And it's a monthly subscription, just telling people who are doing stuff to keep doing it, to keep producing art. The two I want to tell you about, that one is my friend Seth Haran. He was the bass player 20 years ago for Vertical Horizon, right before they hit it big. He decided to stay independent, which was awesome. and he's a great guy. And he's back in Central New York. After he grew up in Buffalo and moved out to California, and he did the solo. He's done the solo basis singer-songwriter thing for the entire time that I've known him. I met him 1999, 2000, and he's a good guy. He's a great head on his shoulders, and he's a talented as hell musician. And so I'm throwing him a couple of bucks every month, and he's releasing songs for people who put up a few bucks. And he had a new one out a couple of weeks ago. It's a great song called the Augurs Tell Rome When to Go to War. So good shout there. And at a certain level, he streams concerts, which is a pretty cool new model in a world where record sales and royalties for plays are nil, basically. What else? The other thing I'm giving to is Ryan Singer, who has a podcast called Me and Paranormal You that I've been greatly enjoying. He's a comedian who is kind of also into the supernatural. I'm not gonna try to break down what that show is, but it's pretty cool. Every now and then, like every other episode, he's got somebody on and they're having a conversation about tarot or ghosts or whatever else, and then the in between episodes, he calls them third ear bonuses, and he's doing stuff like reading papers, and he's been really into secret societies lately, which is cool. So, but fans of comedy might know his United Snacks of America bit. I put a video of it in the show notes. It was, of course, recorded during the Obama administration. There's a line in there that doesn't make sense currently, obviously. But yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna stop stumbling over my words. I am going to get on with my Thursday and get to the gym, get out, and try to do some good in this world. And yeah, I hope you do the same. See you next time.